What up, Search fam? Sharde here. It's Tuesday. Grab your tea. Let's get started. Hello, my dear ones. Welcome and welcome back to the channel. We here. We in this thing. I hope you're doing well and your week has gotten off to a wonderful start. It's the fall. One thing to know about me is that I love spring and fall. Spring is when I was born, so biased, but fall as well. Like, I think I like those in-between seasons where the weather is milder and the vibe for me is just a lot more relaxed in spring and in the fall. Because we're in the fall, I kind of wanted to talk to you all about how to do a reset for the fall, since it marks, a shift in the seasons. We're getting towards the fall equinox, and sort of broadly the earth is changing and preparing itself for winter. So I think that's a wonderful time to think about doing kind of a hard reset. I tend to do my hard resets in the spring and in the fall. I tend to work my resets around when I would change my wardrobe, because you require different clothing as you get into the spring and summer than in the fall and the winter. Like, those things sort of go together. And I think that in doing so, I think resets are important a lot of times, but I think for me, my sort of hard resets revolve around when the earth is changing, right? When we're going from one set of climate to another. Supposedly, I live in Houston, so that doesn't quite happen because it's winter. Winter is very short. We don't really get a fall. Summer is 9-10 months. I wanted to offer a few strategies that I employ when I think about doing my hard reset for the fall. The fall for me is an opportunity to, number one, embrace slowness, because the vegetation is starting to die. Animals are starting to get ready for hibernation. Like, this is the time when we have an opportunity to really slow ourselves down. And as someone who is a workaholic, recovering workaholic, I think it's important to remember that it is important to have seasons that are slower than others. There's nothing wrong with that. Fall gives us an opportunity to sort of evolve through the year as the earth does. And I think it's important to use that opportunity to sort of check in, take stock of where you are and what you need, which brings me to my second tip, which is to check in with yourself and check in with your goals. One of the things that I do in the fall, especially because that's coming towards the last quarter of the year, is to look back at my goals for the year. And I house my goals in my bullet journal, and each quarter I try to at least be working towards those broader goals, or editing them. But the fall is a good time, because we're coming to the final quarter of the year. The last stretch is to decide what goals still make sense as I get ready to transition into another year, and what I need to be ending out. If there are actionable steps that I need to be taking towards achieving a certain goal by the end of the year, then I need to be looking into what have I done or what have I not done. Are there processes that I need to be revising to be able to be successful at the things that I desire to accomplish by the end of the year? But also, it's a time for me to check in with myself, especially if I've been running, if I've had a active spring and summer, then I might be burnt out and not know. So taking more time to sort of sit with yourself and ask yourself, what are my needs? Do my goals still fit and align with those needs? What are actionable steps that I need and want to put in place to help me to wrap up my goals for the year and put me in a spot to create new goals for the next year. I tend to do my hard decluttering, like full-blown cleaning fest, in the spring and the fall, as I said, because that's usually when I switch out my summer clothes, my spaghetti straps, my maxi dresses for more leggings, more jeans, and cozy sweaters. So I clean out the closet, change out my closet, and when I change my closet, I use that as an opportunity to ask myself what I actually wore and to get rid of, pass on the things that either I can no longer wear because I can't fit it, or that I no longer wear because it no longer fits with my aesthetic, or things that are so worn that they need to be thrown away. That's a good opportunity to do that and sort of get rid of some things, especially if you have a need to bring in some new items, like you're going to need a few new sweaters, or your jeans have holes in them that you don't want there, so it's probably time to give them away, or your shoes the soles are worn, so it's probably time to get a new pair of shoes for the season. So I do all of that in my fall declutter. But also I tend to go through things in like my kitchen and in my cabinets in the bathroom, and to do the same thing. Have I used this thing? Is it expired? Does it no longer work for my health, dietary, or skincare concerns? These are all good questions to ask, and I don't do this in one day. Even though I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, this takes a few days, and I might do it over the whole month of September or into October because I've been slow, but I still make sure I do it through the fall months to give myself more space. And when you declutter, it just gives you a breath of fresh air. So once your space is decluttered, you've done a nice good cleaning session of your space, it's time to cleanse the space. Because one of the things that I believe, as someone who's sort of spiritually inclined, is that when you start moving things around, it moves the stagnant energy. So you want to make sure that the same way that you clean your bathroom, or you vacuum up all of the dirt and things that you've tracked in, you want to do the same thing when it comes to cleansing your space. And I usually do that with incense. I also do it with Florida water that I make myself, and then sometimes I sage. My sage is really old at this point because it was gifted to me and I don't use it very often. I opt for using incense or my Florida water to sort of cleanse my whole house, to do a whole little ritual. And if that's something that you want to see, let me know down in the comment section and I can get that on my list of things to do. The final thing that I think is super helpful in the fall as you do your reset is to get cozy. There's something very satisfying about pulling out my favorite long sleeve shirts, and I usually wear my things pretty baggy. So long sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, beanies. Get cozy, but also get cozy in your eating and in your aromas that you have in your house. So one of my favorite fall scents comes from Mactub Studios, which is a Black-owned candle company, and all of their candles have musical playlists tied to them. So each candle is named after a song, and the owner puts out a playlist seasonally. So her fall and winter scents are, very cozy, very warm and comforting. And the one I love is her Thriller candle, which is, I think, like apples. It smells like fall. It smells like apples and cinnamon and just like you're sitting by the fire. So I love that as sort of my fall scent for my home. I also think about spices and foods. Now, because we live in the society we do, it's easy for us to get the foods that we desire year round, but I would suggest eating more seasonally. Like, there are certain fruits and vegetables and things that you're only supposed to be able to get in certain seasons. So I would think about more cozy meals. One of the things I love to make in the fall and the winter is chili. I love cold weather, so I can make chili. So chili, thinking about soups with gourd vegetables, with butternut squash, with sweet potatoes, things like that, but also drinks. And we're not just talking pumpkin spice, although pumpkin spice is great, but also like cider. I love hot apple cider, and I've challenged myself to attempt to find more drinks that are fall cozy, you know, more cinnamons and turmerics and like cardamom and those sorts of things, those spices in my daily usage for my fall drinks. Okay, so considering like what is in season and making more sort of cozy, you know, more hearty meals to enjoy, these are things that like make the soul and the heart warm. So that's all I got. I hope that, you know, this helps and you are in the mindset of, oh, what can I do to make my transition into fall enjoyable and to make things different. And it's not just about the decorating, because I don't do a whole bunch of extra decorating seasonally, but I do it in small ways, in the foods that I cook, in the scents that I use, in the things that I wear, you know, the practices that I cultivate in the fall that are a little bit different than the spring. As always, I pray that you have a wonderful week, that you are able to adopt some slowness this week and to begin, if you haven't already, transitioning yourself to the fall. I love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next one.